Years ago, I wrapped up a run of Annie playing Daddy Warbucks with the South Carolina Children's Theater. I was about 40, 50 pounds overweight, tired, sick, fed up with the way I felt. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I had to do something. I scheduled my weight loss consultation with PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. And as they say, the rest is history. Just a few months, I lost over 50 pounds. I took control of my health. 3 years later, I've kept the weight off and I feel better than ever. If you are where I was, do what I did. Call PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition. It'll change your life. It's fast and simple. They won't let you fail. Just give them a call at 855-696-2020 to schedule your weight loss consultation. That's 855-696-2020. 855-696-2020. Here's the best part. First 11 callers who mention the keyword healthy will get 2 free weeks added to their weight loss package. Don't wait. Call today. 855-696-2020. Mention healthy to get 2 free weeks or visit them at myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com.
Carmaker Toyota blaming President Trump's tariffs for a second quarter drop in profit of 37%.
The world's number one automaker also makes vehicles in Mexico and Canada. Toyota's profit in the April to June quarter totaled about $5.7 billion, down from more than $9 billion in the same period the year before. Its quarterly sales rose 3%. Toyota says tariffs cost its quarterly operating profit $3 billion. Cost reduction efforts and the negative impact of an unfavorable exchange rate also hurt its bottom line. Analysts say Toyota is likely the worst hit by the tariffs among global companies, even compared with other Japanese automakers. I'm Donna Warder.
ESPN announcing its new streaming service will launch August 21st. This move comes as streaming surpasses cable and broadcast in U.S. TV usage. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. An upcoming weekend series in Atlanta will feature MLB's first female umpire.
Jen Powell is set to become the first woman to umpire in Major League Baseball when she works this weekend's games between the Miami Marlins and Atlanta Braves. The 48-year-old from New Jersey will work the bases in Saturday's doubleheader at Truist Park and the plate on Sunday. MLB's move comes 28 years after the gender barrier for game officials was broken in the NBA, 10 years after it ended in the NFL, and 3 years after the Men's Soccer World Cup employed a female referee. The NHL still has not had a woman referee. I'm Geffen Coolbaugh.
NFL players can continue using smelling salts during games, but team employees are banned from distributing smelling salts or ammonia inhalants during pregame activities, games, and halftime. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm John Scott.
The following is an America Matters Media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
And welcome, Mr. Constitution Radio here on America Matters Media, ZakiRadio.com, KPFG AM 1060, and throughout America online and other affiliate stations. Glad you're here. I am Douglas V. Gibbs, Mr. Constitution. I am on the air a lot. Go to douglasvgibbs.com, douglasvgibbs.com to learn more. All right, so and as always, there's a lot going on in our world. As always, there's a lot to talk about. And what I try to do here and on all my programs is talk about things. I am going to talk about those issues that are important, those that you see everybody's talking about. But I also want to talk about things nobody's talking about. I want to get into things that the average American may not understand. I want you to learn. I want you to participate, because isn't that what being a citizen is all about? And with the term citizen, it seems like in our modern day America is being disrespected. It's not being taken seriously. And you know, it's interesting because, and this just happened, and it drove me nuts when I saw this. So, and I don't know if you saw this, and I'm serious when I say that it bothers me that this even goes on. Now, let me back up a little bit. So, Ilhan Omar, for example, Her allegiance is to Islam and Somalia. She represents a district in Minnesota in Congress. She is on committees that are associated indirectly and directly with national security, our border security, and so on and so forth. She's not the only one that acts like and says her allegiance isn't to the United States first. So in the news, Democratic Representative Delia Ramirez of Illinois, who was at a Pan American Congress in Mexico City over the weekend, and in Spanish, she's declaring on that stage in another country, mind you, I'm a proud Guatemalan before I'm an American. Well, of course, it drew a lot of outrage, a lot of questions, what she said. It is amazing. We have representatives in the United States Congress that are saying that they're not even pretending to put America first. Well, I'm Guatemalan first. Well, then why are you in our Congress? Ilhan Omar, well, I'm Somalian and Muslim first. Then why are you in our Congress? And the anger over Ramirez isn't just about how she defines herself. It's not just, it goes beyond that. What is it to be an American? Because, to be an American is an important thing. And it's about being a citizen. There's no, it's funny because in response, the Department of Homeland Security put out a quote from President Theodore Roosevelt on social media. And I've read this before. This is Teddy Roosevelt. This is going all the way back to early 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s. I believe it was right around 1901, 1902, something like that. There's no room in this country for hyphenated Americanism. Americanism is a matter of the spirit and of the soul. Our allegiance must be purely to the United States. We must unsparingly condemn any man who holds any other allegiance. My wife was born in Mexico. When she naturalized, one of the requirements for her before she took the oath was to renounce her citizenship to Mexico. Could you imagine if, because she was born in Mexico, we moved to Mexico and I lived there for many years and I learned the language and became a citizen of Mexico and then decided to run for their legislature, got into their legislature, and then said at one point, I'm an American before I'm a Mexican. Do you think that'd go over well in that country? This person, Ramirez, should not be in the United States Congress. She should not be sitting on the House Committee on Homeland Security as she is right now. She has been out there speaking anti-American language for the longest time, accusing the U.S. of prioritizing imperialism, militarization, conquest, control, competition in its attempt at domination. This is all cultural Marxism. I'm not going to sit here and say America's perfect. It's not. There are segments of our government that have done very bad things in history. There is a deep state. There is a swamp that does things in the name of America that's not good. But this is our country. Have your criticisms, work to fix it. But don't go out there and sit there and this is a horrible place. Then why are you here? She's a child of immigrant parents. She said her husband on her website is in the country illegally. Let's call ICE. Let's get her an appointment with Tom Homan. She says she's the only congressional lawmaker in a, quote, mixed status marriage, unquote. Fighting for the rights of dreamers like her husband. She needs to be released from office. She says she's honoring her Guatemalan ancestry. That only strengthens my commitment to America. This is how she backpedaled. No, having heritage is a good thing. But sitting there saying you're a Guatemalan first is not strengthening your commitment to America. Anyone who denies our claim on this country simply because we dare to honor our diverse heritage and immigrant roots only exposes how fragile and small-minded their own idea of what America really is. No, you're the small-minded one. America first. And I'm going to get into the Founding Fathers' opinion about it after this break. Don't go anywhere.
This is Peter from Nevada Real Estate Radio. I talk about the subjects that help you as a home buyer, seller, or investor. Some people might just focus on the negative things, so guess where they're going? We do it differently. We focus on the positive aspects of today's real estate opportunities. You might have to navigate through some murky waters, but we're here to help you achieve success. The Nevada Real Estate Radio, Thursdays, 3 p.m. on 93.7 FM. Nevada Real Estate Radio.
At Northern Nevada Family Dental, we are proud to announce a wide range of advanced dental services by way of the Photona Lightwalker Laser. The Lightwalker Laser can efficiently and effectively treat most periodontal problems from deep persistent pocketing to peri-implantitis and a multitude of conditions in between. Have cold sores? We can inhibit the cycle of the virus and sometimes even prevent them from occurring. Do you have a snoring or CPAP problem? Through the amazing healing power of light, we can treat tissues inside the mouth without anesthesia, appliances, or cutting, so that after just one treatment, most people sleep better and quieter that same night. By using the power of the laser intraorally, we can also smooth facial wrinkles and tighten sagging necklines, all without you having to be numb, and there's no downtime. It can even be done on a lunch break. Through the FDA-approved Power of Light, these treatments and many more are now available at Northern Nevada Family Dental in Sparks. Have I piqued your interest? Give us a call at 626-7772 or visit us at northernnevadafamilydental.com.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
And welcome back, Mr. Constitution Radio on Zachy Radio, zachyradio.com. If you're listening live, you can go there, hit one of those 4 in there, hit the live. If you missed it, go to zachyradio.com, check it out later. I also put links on douglasvgibbs.com so you can check it out later as well. So welcome back to the program. So I opened up the program talking about Representative Ramirez and Ilhan Omar. Ramirez went down to Mexico City and said, hey, I'm Guatemalan before I'm American. What's wrong with this picture? Now, it said, the article that I read about this says she's the child of immigrant parents, so I'm going to assume she's born in America. They had gone through the process, subject to the jurisdiction thereof, when she was born, and that she's a citizen. Ilhan Omar, not so much. She naturalized. There's all kinds of stories about that. I'm not going to get into that. So citizenship, because you got to be a citizen in order to serve in the American legislature, Congress. And understand that being an American citizen is a special thing. As a citizen of the United States, when you're a citizen, you enjoy all of the privileges and immunities that are linked with citizenship. It says so right there in Article 4, Section 2 of the United States Constitution. That you are that you are not only entitled to all of the privileges and immunities of the citizenship as a citizen, but that is going to be treated equally throughout the states. And if one is not a citizen of the United States, then that person is not going to fall under the full jurisdiction of the United States. In other words, there are some benefits, rights, and advantages one might not have access to while in the country. Non-citizens in the United States, or any country for that matter, carry the reality that as a guest, there are certain limitations, certain conditions apply. If you come into my house as a guest, you don't have the full privileges of the home. You can't just go into the refrigerator and grab something without asking. You shouldn't kick your foot up on the coffee table. Go through rummaging through my closets. You're a guest. There are limitations. There are certain conditions for you while you are a guest in my home. The same goes for non-citizens who are guests, be it a permanent resident ID or a visa or vacationer. That applies. No, you're not going to be an American first if you're a guest. You are a member of a different society. But if you're going to be in this country, then those limitations and conditions are lifted if you become a citizen. The word citizen is a big deal. The word citizen in the English language comes from Middle English, meaning inhabitant of a city, city, C-I-T-I, citizen, or town. The Anglo-French word citizen means city dweller. The Latin root comes from the word civitatem, civitas, which is defined as citizenship or community of citizens, which itself comes from civis, which means township or citizen. The concept of citizenship also emerged during the era of ancient Greece. It goes all the way back then. Their term, politis, meaning city or city-state, served as the basis for referring to someone who belonged to a polis, city, and had the rights and responsibilities of civic life. In other words, being a citizen to the Greeks, ancient Greece, didn't just mean residency, didn't just mean you're here. It was reserved to those who belonged to the community and practiced active participation in the political, legal, and military life of the city-state. In other words, with citizenship comes responsibility. The understanding of what being a citizen means in Western Europe evolved over time, capturing some of the significance of being a citizen as seen by the ancient Greeks. By the late 14th century, the definition expanded to mean a freeman or permanent inhabitant of a country, distinguishing citizens from foreigners and aliens, as well as citizens from slaves and subjects. The term citizenship, as it is spelled today, as we see it today, as we recognize it today, was actually first recorded in the 1610s, referring to the status and responsibilities of a citizen. Status, responsibilities. In the old world, the common man was a subject. In Britain, you were a British subject. In France, you were a French subject, bound by allegiance to a monarch with little to no political agency. The Founding Fathers recognized the dangers of such a model of government and rejected it outright. They brought back the word citizen. They envisioned a republic where citizens were not subjects of the government, but masters of it. A subject was subject to the demands of a monarchy, but in the United States, if you're a citizen, well, the government became subject to the demands of the people through consent to the governed, representation, and other direct and indirect influences by we the people. The shift was revolutionary and seen by European elites as doomed to fail. How can this work if the elite, aristocratic government aren't the ones that are in control? How can it work if the peasants, the slaves, serfs, subjects are citizens and have hold of the reins of government? It's not going to work. It's going to fail. That's what they believed. Citizenship in America was not merely a legal status. It fell in line with what ancient governments like Greece meant. Citizenship became a moral and political identity rooted in allegiance, responsibility, and sovereignty. Citizenship, but even more important, allegiance to the country as a citizen. The founders were deeply concerned about divided loyalties, especially when one considered that some colonists, labeled as Tories and Loyalists, took arms against the Patriots with the British during the American Revolution. Therefore, to protect against divided loyalties, the Founding Fathers established a policy of allegiance with all kinds of citizenship. The Naturalization Act of 1790 required immigrants to renounce allegiances and affirm loyalty to the U.S. Constitution, a policy that is still in place today when it comes to naturalization, a policy my wife, as I mentioned earlier, had to follow. She had to renounce her citizenship to Mexico to take the oath to become an American. The Constitution mandates that the president and vice president be natural-born citizens, ensuring undivided allegiance at the highest levels of power. Members of Congress must be citizens for a set number of years, reflecting the need for assimilation and loyalty, not this I'm Guatemalan first attitude. The understanding that divided loyalties are dangerous and citizenship carries with it a need for loyalty, responsibility, and attention to civic duties continued during the discussions about citizenship after the war between the states as well, when it came to the debates that sought ensuring that the newly emancipated slaves would enjoy American citizenship, and that the language used continued the tradition of guarding against divided loyalties. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 declared all persons born in the United States and not subject to any foreign power are citizens. The language of that document was deliberate. Senator Lyman Trumbull explained that the language exempting citizenship to certain groups unless they participated in the protocols and procedures for citizenship included the children of foreigners and aliens, tribal members, foreign diplomats, ambassadors, and other foreign government consuls and ministers. The language of the Civil Rights Act of 1866 then was carried into the language of the Citizenship Clause of the 14th Amendment. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. In 1866, during congressional testimony regarding the Citizenship Clause, Senator Jacob Howard clarified that subject to the jurisdiction meant full allegiance, not mere physical presence. This was not a blanket endorsement of birthright citizenship, as some might argue, but a constitutional affirmation of allegiance-based citizenship. To the Founding Fathers, citizenship was a covenant, a mutual bond between the individual and the republic, and it required allegiance to the Constitution, participation in civic life, and defense of liberty against tyranny. Benjamin Franklin famously warned, a republic, if you can keep it. Citizenship is not just a privilege, it was a responsibility to the Founding Fathers, and that responsibility demanded undivided loyalty. Black's Law Dictionary defines citizen as one who, under the Constitution and laws of the United States or of a particular state, is a member of the political community owing allegiance and being entitled to the enjoyment of full rights. Now, think about that definition for a moment, because it emphasizes two key elements that are very important here. Allegiance, a citizen owes loyalty to the country they are a member of. And rights. A citizen is entitled to full access of their natural rights within that political community. Citizenship is not just about residency or where one was born. It's about political membership and undivided allegiance. It's a reciprocal relationship. The citizen supports the republic, and the republic secures the citizen's rights. I bring up Black's Law Dictionary because in the chat room of a program I co-hosted a couple Sundays ago for the Republic on Patriot Soapbox, so I put citizen equals subject slave. When I asked what they meant, they said, well, read Black's Law Dictionary. Those who challenge that term, citizenship, typically are national sovereignty people, have told me often that the definition in that resource says that a citizen is someone who is subject to the laws of the country they are a citizen of, which makes them a subject. No. In fact, that is an idiotic twisting of the context, trying to fit their narrative. Being subject to the laws of a country is not the same as being a subject in the manner as was in the old world. Citizenship in the United States is a wonderful thing. I don't get the questioning of it, especially I don't get those who want to toss privileges and immunities of citizenship in the direction of illegal aliens, a group who not only bear no allegiance nor plan to taking responsibility toward those benefits of citizenship, but broke American law in the first place just to enter the country. A move that definitely does not respect the laws of this country, does not respect the American system, and shows that they could care less about the tradition of American citizenship. Citizen is an important thing. Citizen is about responsibility, is about being a part of this country and having allegiance to it. Let's take a break. When we come back, a lot more to talk about, so don't go anywhere.
Sliced fresh sandwiches every day, made right before your eyes. The port of Subway could be a smoking number 5 or a classic number 8, or maybe an Italian is your number 1 fave. Whatever you crave, prepare to fall in love. Sliced fresh sandwiches, port of Subs.
The grilled chicken melt at Port of Subs will warm up your winter with savory grilled chicken and your favorite melty cheese on fresh-baked pepperoncini pepperjack bread, topped with all your favorite veggie toppings and sauces. Bundle up with savory Cool Ranch Doritos, a refreshing Sprite, and a classic chocolate chip cookie for a hearty meal that'll leave you feeling oh so satisfied. Available for a limited time at your neighborhood Port of Subs, or order at portofsubs.com or on our mobile app. Port of Subs, we're slicing up the quality you crave.
Whatever yummy number you're dreaming of, sliced fresh sandwiches, Port of Subs.
Talking to Victor from Precision Diamonds. Victor, I remember you in the old days, Park Lane Mall, a kiosk. It's a lot different now, isn't it?
Man, that was a long time ago. 1988, we've been blessed that we've been guided, and finally we have bought an amazing building across the street from the convention center. We found a better way to serve you. You know, we call it home. We managed to create amazing energy. And when we say welcome to the family, boy, we really mean it.
It is a family affair.
Absolutely. And we couldn't have done it without our wonderful customers who believed in us for all of 27 years. So I'm here to really say thanks to all of our wonderful family members who we started as customers, who now we know each other's children's and grandchildren.
All those years ago, a little kiosk in Park Lane Mall. Park Lane Mall's not there anymore, but you are still here.
Yeah, we have solidified our future by buying this beautiful building on Virginia Street. So we're there to serve you.
Thank you, Victor. Precision Diamonds, your local jeweler across from the convention center.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now back to the show.
And welcome back, Mr. Constitution Radio, here on America Matters Media, ZakiRadio.com, and all over the United States, online, on the radio, and so forth. And also visit me at DouglasVGibbs.com. Now, so there's a redistricting battle that's been going on in Texas. Now, the accusation by the Democrats is that the Republicans are trying to gerrymander the state. No. If you look at Texas, it is gerrymandered quite well for the Democrats. The aim of the Republicans is to undo the gerrymandering, to get the districts redrawn in a manner that's more grid-like. The redistricting battle has escalated to the point where the House Democrats left the Lone Star State in order to block having a quorum so there can't be a vote. Because I guess their presence is necessary in order to have a quorum the way it is designed there. Who's the majority? And so Senator John Cornyn said, this is a senator from in the U.S. Senate from Texas, said on Thursday that this is earlier today, that the FBI responded to his request to help arrest those state House Democrat lawmakers. I don't like calling them lawmakers. That's what he called them. And what these articles are calling them, they're representatives. Their job is not to make law. Their job is to represent you. I hate the term lawmakers, who left the state in a bid to block GOP-led redistricting effort. Now, this is from the Epic Times. If you want to check out the article at the Epic Times, it's titled, FBI's Patel has responded to request to help arrest Texas Democrats, Senator says. So earlier this week, Cornyn sent a letter to the FBI and its director, Kash Patel, to request federal assistance in apprehending the Texas House Democrats who fled to other states such as Illinois, Massachusetts, and New York. So they're fighting against, they claim, gerrymandering. Everybody says gerrymandering. It's not gerrymandering. It's gerrymandering. It's named after Elbridge Gerry, who was a Congress critter back in early America after we became a country. And his district was drawn in such a way that the newspapers joked that it looked like a salamander. So they began to call it a gerrymander after him. Gerrymander, not gerrymander. Drives me nuts. Everybody says gerrymander. But anyway, so these Democrats went to Illinois, Massachusetts, New York. They're protesting what they believe is the Republicans trying to gerrymander, and so they flee to states that are obviously and clearly gerrymandered in favor of the Democrats. Have you seen some of the districts in Illinois? One of them looks like a snake. Another one curves around and then reaches over to the right to grab a city. Texas Governor Greg Abbott said, hey, you guys need to do the business of, conduct our business of the House here in Texas. Part-time legislature meets once a year. This is a special session. You need to be here. And if you don't, you're going to be under arrest. Thing is, he's governor of Texas. His power to arrest is in Texas. That's the reason why they fled the state. That's why they went to Illinois, New York, Massachusetts, because the long arm of the law in Texas can only reach to the Texas state line. So, Cornyn said that he contacted the FBI and says, hey, help me out. And posted on X that Patel, quote, has responded to my request to assist state and local law enforcement locate the runaway Texas House Democrats and investigate potential offenses. Quote, thank you, Director Patel, for your swift response and action, Cornyn said, without providing more details about what Patel had said. Meanwhile, the FBI director has not said anything publicly about it. The FBI's press office has not responded to the Epoch Times trying to contact him. On Wednesday, Abbott suggested in an interview with podcast host Dana Lash that the FBI was going to assist in the search for the Democrats. I'm sure Trump would be like, yeah, let's do this. Abbott has urged the Texas Supreme Court to remove State Representative Gene Wu, chair of the Texas House Democratic Caucus, from his seat. Quote, it's my understanding that the FBI is going to search for these derelict Texas House members in whatever state they may be in and help identify them and maybe work with us to bring them back, the Texas governor said in an interview. The Democratic state representatives said they left Texas to block the state house from reaching a quorum. So in other words, they're trying to influence the vote by leaving. And they need to be there, and there needs to be a quorum in order for the House Republicans to advance redistricting legislation and other measures. Now, here's the interesting part. Because remember, there was these floods there too. So we got like 100 people left dead because of the flooding in that state. They're not there to vote on stuff regarding that too, to provide funding for that too. So the Democrats, they're putting their power, their position, their ability to hang on to their seats as more important than the flood victims that left 100 people dead in the central part of Texas last month. Think about that. But then this is where it really gets interesting. So these state representatives have solicited and accepted funds and favors and flights, hotel rooms, so that they may avoid their legislative duties. Now, I ran for office. It was the FPPC, I think it's called. Political Practices Commission, Federal Political Practices Commission. And the rules are very, very strict. As a candidate, I could not accept a single gift or anything without marking what it is, and it had to be for the campaign. And as an office holder, you cannot accept a gift, money, anything. Anyway, but especially if it's going to influence the vote. But is this not what is happening here? Is this not them receiving gifts, them receiving flights, them receiving hotel rooms, meals, whatever, so that they won't be in chamber, which means it is influencing their vote. These gifts are influencing their vote by them not voting. not being able to vote, and also making it so that other members of that house cannot vote. That's a serious offense. What is the American people going to think about people that are not just fleeing, not just running away because they don't want to stand there and debate the problem, actually have some type of policy and ideas? They can't win in the arena of ideas, so they run away. Then they say, well, the reason the Republicans do this, they're worried about the midterm. No, you're worried about the midterm. You're already nervous about it. And now, if we get rid of your gerrymandering, you're going to lose even more seats? Of course you're nervous. Of course you're running for the hills. Now, Wu, that head of the Democrats, said that any suggestion of bribery or anything like that is monstrously stupid. Well, no member is leaving because they might get a campaign contribution that might restore some of the money that they've been spending. That's not what's being said. You're being given gifts. You're being given free rooms, free flight. You guys flew on private jets, and I'm going to assume that on your salary, you can't afford a $15,000 flight on a private jet. Or maybe you can. Hell, Pelosi, with her insider trading, is a multi-millionaire. Maybe you can. And J.B. Pritzker, while claiming that this is the governor of Illinois, Democrat, while claiming that he has not financially supported them, he is with welcoming arms and helping them. And I guarantee there's financial support somewhere. Hotel, free hotel, something. The lawmakers said they didn't want him to fund their trip. I think they're covering up. Well, we don't have billionaires funding our operation. Absolutely you do. One of them's name is Soros. Now, Cornyn also said that his request to Patel and the FBI is a time-sensitive issue because, remember, the legislature in Texas is a part-time legislature. That's not their job. They've got jobs outside, so they don't make much. So how is it then, once again, they can afford the plane flight, the hotel rooms, time away from their jobs? None of them are rich, right? Well, then they're getting help from somewhere. And this special legislature, a special session, only has 2 weeks left. That's why it's time sensitive. That's why there needs to be some move on. That's why it needs to be a kind of a rush, I guess. And so now that said, this is what the left does. And they play these games. It's just like with the Epstein thing. Everybody got upset over Pam Bondi, and I mentioned this before in another episode. Pam Bondi says, "Oh, I've got the Epstein files on my desk." She assumed what was in them was everything that was needed, and it wasn't. What'd you think was going to happen? Those files have been in the hands of the deep state, the swamp, and the Democrats for years, ever since they first emerged. Even during Trump's first term, because the swamp was still in control. This is the first time they have been out of the enemy's hands, and you're surprised that what's supposed to be there isn't there? And that there might be false, deceptive stuff in there? Well, the reason why Trump doesn't want those files out there is because, he's listed as one of the customers, said a bunch of Democrats. Well, Ghislaine Maxwell said otherwise. This is the girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein, in jail. And there was an interview. She says, "Hey, Trump never showed me any kind of behavior like that. Trump is not on the list," said a few other people who knows who the customer base was. I guarantee you, if Donald Trump was on a list in some document or file regarding Epstein that the Democrats, swamp, and deep state has had all this time, they would have been parading it out in the open. Trump is not on that list. What is on that list is hidden, gone. That's the reason why the Trump administration, the DOJ, Pam Bondi, and FBI are trying to get the grand jury testimony transcripts, hoping there might be some clues in there for the truth, because the files don't have the truth. But Ghislaine Maxwell now is talking. She's singing. Give her immunity. Maybe she'll sing more. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Thank you for spending your time with Mr. Constitution Radio. We'll be right back.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. I'm here to warn you about telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Some of these scammers may say threatening things like you will be arrested if you don't make payments or provide personal information. Do not fall for these tricks. These calls are not from us. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you for information or money. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Never give the caller your personal information, like your Social Security number or bank account, or send money in any form, cash, gift cards, wire transfers, or prepaid debit cards. Report the call to our law enforcement arm, the Office of the Inspector General, at oig.ssa.gov. Share this information with your friends and family.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
And welcome back, Douglas V. Gibbs, Mr. Constitution, DouglasVGibbs.com. You want to help fund what I do? Funding's always an issue. Visit DouglasVGibbs.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, hit the donate button. And if you want to become a regular donor, you can actually click it for monthly. Or here, how about this? In the chat, but not the chat, but the link bar at the top of the website, home, about, blog, all that. On the far right where it says join, all caps, Join, all caps, star, right next to the J. Click that and click patron. Become a $9 a month patron. That helps fund what we're doing. And as we continue to develop the site, nice little goodies are going to begin to emerge for our patrons. But you got to be a patron in order to get the goodie. $9 a month. That's less than one of those cups of coffees at one of those, places that put way too much caffeine in their coffee so that you get addicted to it. The place with the mermaid and all that. It's a lot less than lunch at a Cracker Barrel, even though Cracker Barrel's got some great prices. It's funny because Cracker Barrel, it's been around, the first one was in Lebanon, Tennessee back in 1969. And Cracker Barrel for me was like awesome because there were none in Southern California when I was growing up that I remember. I think there's a couple right now, Rialto and Victorville. I live on the Oregon coast. There is no, the closest Cracker Barrel is like 8 hours away from me, like right now, maybe longer. But when I travel, I love going to Cracker Barrel. As a kid, so my whole family was originally from Arkansas. So as a kid, we'd go drive between Southern California and Arkansas. And there was a few places that I got a kick out of going to that I could not get in California. Shoney's Big Boy. No, yes, we had Bob's Big Boy. We never went. But we'd hit a Shoney's Big Boy on the trip because it was along the roadway. Cracker Barrel was another one. Cracker Barrel was memories growing up, going back and forth to Arkansas. And now my folks live in Northwest Arkansas, and I hit a Cracker Barrel a couple times when I go visit them. Whenever I travel, I try to hit Cracker Barrels. We hit 2 or 3 on this last trip. I did a 32-day nationwide tour in May, and hit a few of them. Unfortunately, the one in Billings, Montana, was a little less than par for the course compared to all the other Cracker Barrels. I sent a little thing. Hopefully, they're fixing that. But I've noticed they're not quite what they used to be, service-wise and all that. And I guess that's kind of the way it is nowadays. It's hard to get good service. One of the things where I live is restaurants don't last long, not because of a lack of customers, but a lack of help, lack of good help. And I went to a few Cracker Barrels, and they were all great, just as I remembered. The cluttered general store area with the knickknacks and all this stuff. And I always wind up buying something. All the memorabilia cluttered on the wall, and the signs and the little farm signs and the piggies and all this other stuff. It's a very quaint atmosphere, as expected, as it always has been. And, the executives who run Cracker Barrel now are not the executives that ran a Cracker Barrel then. The originators of Cracker Barrel are dead and gone. Their children and executives, corporate knuckleheads, these are the soulless knuckleheads that are now running Cracker Barrel. And at a bunch of their locations, they've decided to start replacing the old-time charm that makes Cracker Barrel what it is, a special place, with whitewashed aesthetic that can only be dreamed up and approved of by soulless corporate boardroom knuckleheads and high-rise consultancy firms. The little bean counters, too. Oh, well, if this is happening, this must be the problem. And it isn't. The typical Cracker Barrel's aesthetic is an idealized version of what America was, especially in the South and the Midwest. A natural, sincere way of looking at America during simpler times. Harkening back to that simpler time when you were young, or your parents were young, or your grandparents knew and lived in. When mom and pop general stores and diners dotted the landscape, dotted the way along the roadway when we were on our way to Arkansas as a kid, before all the March of Progress and the big shopping centers and all the commercialized fast food places and all that. And when my wife and I are traveling and we look at, Mick this and King that and whatever other businesses out there, and then we see Cracker Barrel. Oh, goody, Cracker Barrel. Relax. Nostalgic. This new aesthetic that they're trying to pay lip service to now, that they think is a good thing, comes off as spiritually sterile, manufactured, hollow. The decorative items you used to see all over the place now are in small places here and there, maybe just to pay a little lip service to what once was. The rest of the stuff on the wall looks like what you find in just about any other modern day place that you'd probably find in the modern day section of Target or Home and Bath or something like that. With all this ugly, not stylish, not nostalgic stuff. Now, some of these restaurants that they've done this to, I think they've done it to like 60 of them, or 40 of them as of May, and I think they want 60 by the end of summer to be like this. And it makes them look like just any other middle grade sit down restaurant. No, that might be a rolling pin or an odd chicken picture or an odd pig picture, to remind you that they used to have that stuff all over the walls. But it's not the same. Why are they making these changes? Why are they doing this to a beautiful part of Americana? Well, there's been declines in guest traffic in recent years, and so the corporate suits have decided it needs to look a little bit more modern to bring in new customers. So you shoo away all of your customers that have been loyal to your restaurant to bring in a few knuckleheads. Hey, how about you get better quality? Because I told you about the one in Billings, Montana. The quality went down. The biscuits were hard. The service was horrid. And so when that happens, Cracker Barrel and any other corporations, what they do is they start believing, well, the problem couldn't possibly be that we're cutting corners or our staff is rude or our quality of our food isn't as good. It must be because our decor is outdated. And so, and they are also making tweaks to their menu. And I suppose some of the dishes, like shrimp dishes, I suppose I can't complain too bad about that, especially if it's Louisiana style, but just saying. But no, what they're doing is they're sterilizing the decor. They are taking away what makes Cracker Barrel, and they're sprucing it up with these glow-up whatevers. And of course, there's been backlash of their modernization, trying to modernize what's just designed to be nostalgic. This remodeling push is for an intentionally drab imitation, a loss of the distinct culture and character in American cities and towns that is already existing because of the big box stores, the chain restaurants. The nice thing is Cracker Barrel stands out. It's not that. They're trying to create it into something that it's not supposed to be. Cracker Barrel's southern decor and distinct regional accents and nostalgic look that made that we go back in time and it made America such a unique place, and now makes these restaurants such a unique place to go to, giving way to the monoculture that's being pushed by cultural Marxism, whether they're doing it intentionally or otherwise by corporate media forces, is unacceptable. And what this is, to be honest, is cultural Marxism. Have you ever seen the list of 45 communist goals by what's his name, Cleon Skousen, from the Naked Communist book? And they're following the list of 45. It says in the list of 45 communist goals to get control of the schools, gain control of the newspapers, all that stuff. But then, here's where it gets interesting. To continue discrediting American culture by degrading all forms of artistic expression. This is number 22 on the list. An American communist cell was told to eliminate all good sculpture from parks and buildings, substitute shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. Isn't that what they're doing inside the Cracker Barrel? Control art critics and directions of art museums. Our plan is to promote ugliness or repulsive, meaningless art. Isn't that what we're seeing? Aren't we seeing the elimination of what America and our culture is? Then you go to 29, discredit the American Constitution by calling it inadequate, old-fashioned, out of step with modern needs, a hindrance to cooperation between nations on a worldwide basis, to get rid of what is America because it's not modern, it's old-fashioned, it's a hindrance. Number 30, discredit the American founding fathers, present them as selfish aristocrats who had no concern for the common man, hence the reason why they've been tearing down statues. Once again, communist goals. The progressives are falling in line with the communist goals, and Cracker Barrel now has thrown their hat into that ring too. Belittle all forms of American culture, discourage the teaching of American history on the ground that it was only a minor part of the big picture. Get rid of the nostalgia, get rid of the history, get rid of what it really is to be American. The corporate owners of Cracker Barrel have given in to cultural Marxism. So far, it's 40 stores, supposed to be 60 by the end of summer, out of 660 stores. I'm going to keep an eye, and I am going to start writing letters. This is not okay. This is not acceptable. This is not America. All about Doug, it's about the dollar. And you are going to lose more dollars than gain with what you're doing. Americans are wising up to the culture of Marxism in the name of wokeism that is spreading across this country. Thank you for spending the time with me. United we stand, combined we kick butt. God bless America. My friends, God bless you. DouglasVGibbs.com, DouglasVGibbs.com, DouglasVGibbs.com. We'll see you next time. Bye.